Hey there, movie lovers! It's the Recapped Man again, and today we're going to be explaining the 2022 movie Scarlett. Our story is about a young college girl named Scarlett, who had quite a tough time while growing up with her dad, as she was trained like an assassin for reasons her dad refused to tell her. So our movie begins with an agent who is seen infiltrating a highly protected estate in an all-black masked suit and a silenced gun. The agent manages to pass the guards and enters the house undetected. Then he goes up to the master's bedroom. There he finds a computer that he immediately starts to decrypt with a device, and afterwards he starts to download the laptop files. He then starts to searches the room for other items, and then he finds a drawer where he sees a hunting knife and some other items that he puts in his bag. But just then, he hears some noise coming from the hallway. Then he quickly hides. Another man, who's probably the owner of the house, enters the room. While talking with someone on the phone, he notices the agent hiding, so he pretends to leave the room in order to attack the agent on alert. But the agent, who's well prepared for a fight, seems to have the upper hand. So the man carries his gun trying to shoot the agent, but the agent overpowers him and stabs him with a knife. But before he dies, the man furiously starts to shoot here by alerting his whole guards. But the agent is skilled, so he easily kills all the guards and moves on. The scene then shifts to our protagonist Scarlett, who's a nursing student. She's seen in class where one of her classmates, Jessica, is seen asking her to hang out during their upcoming spring break. But she turns it down, saying she got lots of paperwork to do. Then Jessica asks whether she's going to see her dad. But Scarlett replies that her dad is the last person she wants to see now, because she and her friend are whispering while the teacher is lecturing. The teacher asks her some questions, and she surprisingly answers them accurately. Later that day, at the cafeteria, she tries to buy some food, but she finds out that all her cards have been frozen by her dad as a way to get her to talk to him. So Jessica helps her pay, on promising to repay her back. Jessica asks that they go dancing instead, so she reluctantly agrees. Unfortunately, at the bar while Jessica is seen dancing, Scarlett is seen sitting at a table alone. Then a guy offers her some drink, but she refuses. All of a sudden his friends joins them at the table, but Scarlett, still not interested, turns down his offer, so they gather her, trying to mess with her by getting more aggressive. But this only gets her angry, so she immediately starts to fight them, and she surprisingly beats all of them one by one. But this results her getting arrested, as it's 4 boys claiming against her. So left with little options, she calls her dad to bail her. While taking her home for spring break, Scarlett's dad seems to be proud that she single-handedly handled 4 boys, but this just gets Scarlett upset as she sees herself as a freak that beat up 4 dudes without a scratch, and she blames it all on her dad as he taught her everything she knows. But the whole situation doesn't even seem to get her dad angry for any reason. So he takes her home. The next day, while the two are eating, Scarlett's dad gives her a gift as a late birthday present. He said it's very special to him, but as she opens it, it was the hunting knife from earlier. It's then revealed that Scarlett's dad is the agent that was seen earlier, and Scarlett has no idea that her dad is a hitman. He just keeps on telling her that he works for the government and he's eligible to carry a gun. So Scarlett, after unboxing the gift, on seeing a knife, gets angry and asks her dad why he got her a knife as a birthday present instead of clothes or maybe gift cards. But he says it's really special to him. So she tells him that she's going for a walk. Scarlett's dad then takes the knife to Scarlett's room. But upon coming back to the kitchen, he sees some people infiltrating his house from his spy camera. He then immediately calls Scarlett and tells her that she should not come back home, that she should go to her grandma's house immediately, and she should not bother calling anyone. But she ignores this and immediately starts to head to the house. Back at the house, we see assassins entering the house from each corner, but Scarlett's dad takes on them one by one. But as he tries to reload his gun, someone comes from his back and tackles him, but he easily beats him up and carries his gun again, and then shots some guys through the window. But a girl at his back uses the opportunity to use a tranquilizer gun on him, hereby making him easy to beat, so they then knock him down. At this time, Scarlett arrives home only to find bloodstains on the floor. She hears a strange noise coming, but as she goes to check it up, 2 assassins tries to grab her. Fortunately, she breaks through and grabs her car keys, but the two assassins follows her and pursue her all the way downtown, but she luckily gets rid of them by hiding under a bridge. So she goes back home and sneaks into her car and drive off before the assassins could get her. Scarlett, after a long drive, rests for a while, and then she disembezzles her phone. Afterwards, she goes to her granny's place, and immediately she sees the house number. She gets a flashback of her when she was younger. We see her dad asking her what's her granny's address, and then as she answers, her dad tells her that if there's any emergency that he'll tell her to go there and she should wait there until he comes. Then she asks her dad why he calls it her granny's house when she doesn't have any grandma, but he tells her that it'll be safe there in case they need it. So she enters the house, and there she finds different food items and other stuff. But as she keeps the car keys on the desk, it shifts. As she opens it, she finds money, some drugs, and all sorts of weapons in. So she closes it and waits for her dad. But at evening, after waiting, she sees her dad's computer, so she uses it to log into their webcam. And there she sees the footage of her dad being assassinated. She then immediately tries to dial 911, but she gets a flashback of her dad telling her not to call 911 in dangerous situations like this. Instead, she should get to safety. The next day, she gets a bag and starts to pack some guns and medicines from her dad's cupboard. Afterwards, she drives a long way from her house. Then she resembles her phone back. Immediately, she gets a call from a guy who calls her Red. The man on the phone tells her that he has her dad and she should wait, so they'll come pick her up if she wants to see him again. After a while, some guys pulled up to get her, but when they opened her car, Scarlett wasn't there, only her phone that they were tracking. Instead, she's at the top of a building spying on them. But she's somehow spotted by one of the agents, so she begins to run, but she gets cut up by them. So she begins to fight the two agents. She accidentally makes one of the agents to kill her partner, and then she knocks down the other agent. She then goes to hide and waits for the last agent to recover. Then she follows her to her hideout. On reaching there, she surveys how the place is heavily guided. So she uses the medicine she carried earlier, which is actually a sleeping medicine to put guard to sleep. And then she enters the hideout and sees someone being tortured, thinking it's her dad, comes out with a gun and tells the man to stop. But as the man opens the sack on the man's head, it was not her father, but she still insists that the tortured man be free, so she manages to free the man. But this only gets them being pursued and almost killed. But they luckily escape in her car. On the road, the man thanks Scarlett for rescuing him, and then he introduces himself as Shun. He then asks her if Scar is her dad. Then she says,
"Yeah."
Scarlett then asks him if he knows where they've kept him, but he say he has no idea. On parking the car, Scarlett asks Shun how he knows her dad. Then he said he works as a middleman, that they discovered a virus being sold that could possibly eliminate a lot of life. So her dad went after it, and he thinks that's what the people who kidnapped him are after. He also reveals to Scarlett that not having a choice, he was the one who gave info on her dad's location, not knowing that they could possibly take him down. But this would only get her angry. Then she insists that he should help her find her dad, as he got him into the mess. So Shun reluctantly agrees, as he owes her one for saving his life. So Scarlett takes Shun back to her granny's house, and Shun suggests that they find the virus and then trade it for her dad. But Scarlett says that she has no idea what the virus is or where it is. So Shun asks to help her find it. Then the two start searching. While searching, Shun asks her whether she works for her father or she just somehow knows how to fight. Then she revealed that all her weekends as a child were used as training sections by her dad to teach her to fight in order for self-defense. Later that day, she resembles her phone again, and then she texts in order to make a deal, asking for her father for the virus. If not, she's gonna meet the police. Then they reply, her 12 noon, or her dad's dead body gets dropped off for the police. Immediately after receiving the text, a car pulls up at the house, and some agents comes in and finds them. Shun then begins to shot, allowing them to escape. but the agent still followed them and begins to shot Scarlett, trying to shot back misses and hits a gas tank that explodes and kills the two men. On seeing this, Scarlett is traumatized that she killed the men, as she has never killed someone before. So on the road, while trying to find somewhere safe, Scarlett gets confused on why the men attacked them, because she said she would give them what they want, so she starts to think that they've killed her dad. But Shun reassures her that that's not the case. But Scarlett starts getting restless. In order to calm her down, Shun tells her about how her dad saved him when he almost died at some point, and this calms her a little. The next day, the both of them goes to Scarlett house in order to look for the virus, but they find nothing. Just then, Scarlett sees a souvenir pack on the floor, and then she remembers about the knife her dad brought her earlier, on telling Shun that her dad said it was special. They both start looking for it, then Scarlett goes to her room to search for it. She finds it there, and then she notices a peeling on the handle of the knife. As she opens it, she discovers a container with the virus in it. That moment, Shun calls Scarlett Red, asking her if she has seen it, then she remembers that. That was what the man who called her earlier on the phone called her, on discovering that Shun's the one who has her dad. She treating him with a gun. But this burst into a fight. Shun then manages to pin her to the wall. Feeling betrayed, she asks Shun if her father is still alive. As he says yes, she hits him in the badonk. Badonk gets away in her car. Just then, we see Shun in anger entering a room and immediately hitting a man who turns out to be Scarlett's dad. We then see Scarlett at her school lab checking out the virus under a microscope. She then calls Shun and asks him for a trade, her dad for the virus. Then he agrees and sends her their location. We then see Scarlett heading for her granny's place. She immediately goes in and starts to pack weapons and some grenades. Afterwards, she goes to the location sent to her and plants some bombs all over the place before surrendering herself in. She then gives Shun the virus, then Shun hands it over for approval. Scarlett then requests to go with her dad, but Shun disagrees and pulls a gun at her head. Just then, one of her bombs explodes. Confused, Shun sent some of his men to check it out. Then Scarlett gives her dad a signal. Immediately, the next one goes off. Then Scarlett and Dad begin to fight, but they are easily overpowered, so they are taken away and tied up. In the room, Scarlett Dad apologizes to Scarlett for not being such a great dad, and the two bond a little. Then Scarlett Dad tells Scarlett that they can't let Shun sell the virus. The Scarlett reveals to her dad that what she gave him was not actually the virus, that she switched it with soap wash. She also reveals that she carried a razor with her, so she used it to cut her and her dad lose. At this time, the man who's helping Shun to verify the virus tells him it's not biological, that what's there is like sugar water. So Shun orders his men to go get Scarlett and her dad. But since they're already lose, they easily beat up the men, but they still get outnumbered and captured again. This time Shun thinks her dad hid the virus, and on wanting to kill him, Scarlett opens up that it's with her, to stop her from playing games with him. He shots her dad in the ear, then he asks her where the virus is for the last time. She then tells him that the virus is in her car trunk, but he doesn't believe her, so he takes her with him to get the virus. As they get outside, Scarlett hands the virus to Shun. Meanwhile, inside Scarlett, Dad is seen attacking the agents, where he seems to hand the upper hand. While outside, as Shun gets the virus, he tries to shoot Scarlett, but he hears gunshot from inside, hereby distracting him and allowing Scarlett to escape. While Scarlett Dad, who's now with a gun, manages to kill all the guards, Scarlett manages to kill the guy that accompanied Shun. But Shun got away, so Scarlett reunites with her dad and they both spot Shun. So Scarlett Dad goes after him to get the virus, telling Scarlett to stay behind. But Scarlett spots one of the agents going after her dad, so she goes after the agent. After a long chase, Shun tries to shot Scarlett Dad, but to all avail. Luckily, Scarlett spots the agents who went after her father on time, so they killed her. And afterward, they manage to kill Shun by stabbing him, and then they retrieve the virus from his pocket. Scarlett Dad, who surprising works for the police, hands the virus over to them, and the film ends with Scarlett and her dad bonding more.
Subscribe for more.